What you're saying about ruts, Clay?
It's a grave with both ends kicked out.
A rut is a grave with both ends kicked out. So, I've always liked that little saying. Which means that we can get into a habit of doing church.
Yes.
Right? I know we need certain structure and things like that. But we also need to be free to hear what the Spirit wants to do. If that means maybe the worship going longer or whatever. You know, before I used to really think about those things, but now I really don't care about that anymore.
Praise God.
I want God to do what He wants to do.
That's right. Amen.
And if maybe we do something, the whole purpose is that God is speaking to one person through it. And that's what the mission is, and that's what the mission is. Right? So right now, I could just say, let's stop and go eat. We could. Or we could preach some. Right? So maybe we'll preach a little bit. Because some people came today, when they bought their ticket, they came to hear some preaching. So, who am I going to ask to preach?
Dan. Dan.
Many qualified preachers in here, I tell you. Qualified people that can do it.
Barbara.
But you know, I draw a pretty hefty salary here. And I need to earn my money. No, I like what Howard Katz said. He said, you're not an employee of the church. Right? So, anyway, God is good. Let's open our Bibles to the New Testament. And let's go to Mark chapter 7. Mark is the gospel when you are in a hurry. Mark will get you through the gospel. He'll share the gospel with you. And he moves straight on. What's been stirring around in me over the last month or so, and I have been sharing very much about it, is our heart. You know, our heart is going to determine our life. And God is extremely interested in what's in our heart. We can put on a show, right? We can do lots of things on the outside. But our heart can be totally opposite. Right? So, God looks more at what is our motivation in life rather than what are we showing, what are we demonstrating to people. You know, he said about those people who, when they pray these nice long prayers. And you know why they pray those nice long prayers? It's so that they can get accolades from man, right? They want the praise of man. Remember, I shared that some time ago. Two things that can entrap you in your life. One is the fear of man. The fear of man brings a snare, Proverbs 29 says. And the other is the fear of man and then wanting to please man. Wanting to get the praise of man. And if you look, even in your own life, what has motivated you in the past? Maybe some wrong motivations. Has it been to please people? Saul was an example of that. He wanted to please the people. Samuel, you come worship with me before the Lord, before the people, so that people can honor me. He had the fear of man. Oh, the people saved the best stuff. We saved it for the Lord, though. That's how deceived Saul was. He compromised obedience for what he thought was right. I mean, he had a deceived heart, right? And that led him astray. And Isaiah talks about the man that breaks a stick, carves half it, worships it. The other half, he uses it to make a fire. The Bible says a deceived heart has led him astray. So a heart is something that needs to be brought into submission to God once a lifetime. No. needs to be brought into submission to God, sometimes on the hour. Right? Because our heart, it's so fickle. Our heart we can be just, and I've had times like this, just really praying and trusting God and talking to people, counseling some, and then somebody says the wrong thing to you, and all of a sudden, all goes down the tubes. Right? It's all destroyed. It's all done. All of a sudden, you're thinking of 100 ways you can hurt that person. Right? And God searches the hearts. In Genesis chapter 6, he says, I looked down and I saw that continually the imagination of the heart was continually wicked. And then God said, and I was grieved in my heart that I had made man. That kind of hurt your feelings. God was so grieved that he felt bad that he even made man. I mean, God can be grieved in his heart. Right? But we know that God tries us. He tries our heart to see what we're made out of. In Israel, he would take them into places where they would really have to trust God. I mean, the supplies just weren't there. You know, your trust for God increases greatly when you don't have what you need. And God says, I did it to see what was in their heart. Sometimes the Lord would, Israel had challenges with false prophets. And sometimes these false prophets would say something, would give a directive to the people that was against the clear written Word of God. You know, the clear Word of God. And God wouldn't just run out to stop it. He would let to see what the people would do with it. He would see if they were going to be led astray, because that was what was in their heart. So to me, studying the heart is an extremely important thing, because we're the lights in this world. We're holding forth the word of life as we go out into this world. And you know what one of the biggest slanders against Christians is? Anybody know what people call Christians all the time? Hypocrites. You know what a hypocrite is? Somebody that says something with their mouth, but doesn't do it, or doesn't believe it in their heart. Right? The word hypocrite really comes from, like, in the days that where they would do the acting, right? And they wear big masks. The reason they were big, because if you were far up in the amphitheater, you had to be able to see emotion, because you couldn't hear their voice. So they wear these big masks. So here's somebody comes into church, they got a big mask on, it's got a smile on. But in their heart, they're thinking. David went through that with people. He says, basically, I'm going to paraphrase it. He said there was a smile on their face, but war was in their heart. He said their tongue were like knives, were like spears. So, and then when Jesus had his run-in with the Pharisees, one of the most hardest criticisms that he gave to them was he called them hypocrites. A hypocrite. And that stings. Have you ever been called a hypocrite? It really stings when your children call you a hypocrite. Now, I've never had that occur, because there'd probably be bloodshed. I'm not that nice of a father. But I've heard children call their parents, you're a hypocrite. And the problem is, they probably were right. Kids are very keen at picking up on people being hypocritical. They're very keen on it. Children know if you like them. If you don't like kids, they know it. They'll sniff it out.